We often wonder if we are truly good people. In a world filled with challenges, distractions, and complexities, how do we measure our goodness? Is it defined by what we do, what we believe, or perhaps how we treat others? Today, we explore 7 signs that may indicate you are indeed a good person. These aren't necessarily grand gestures, but subtle, yet meaningful characteristics that shine through in your everyday life. So, let us embark on this journey of self-reflection and discover if these signs resonate with you. A truly good person understands the feelings and struggles of others. This is perhaps the most profound and significant quality that defines goodness in its purest form. It begins with empathy, a deep innate ability to feel what others are going through and to place oneself in their shoes. Empathy is not merely an intellectual understanding of someone else's emotions, it is the ability to feel with them, to connect on a level that transcends words, and to respond with compassion. At the core of empathy is listening. A good person does not simply hear what is being said, they actively listen, engaging fully in the conversation, seeking to understand not just the words, but the emotions behind them. This level of attention reveals a deep respect for the other person, acknowledging that their feelings are valid and important. Whether someone is experiencing joy, sorrow, fear, or frustration, a good person listens without judgment, without rushing to offer advice or solutions, simply allowing the other person the space to express themselves. But empathy goes beyond listening. It is reflected in the way a person reacts to the emotions of others. When someone shares their pain or their struggles, a good person doesn't distance themselves or feel uncomfortable with the rawness of the emotions. Instead, they meet the person where they are. They offer a shoulder to cry on, words of encouragement, or simply a silent presence to show they care. It is this emotional support that strengthens relationships and creates a sense of belonging and trust. Empathy also calls for a certain vulnerability. To truly understand someone else, a person must be willing to open themselves up, to acknowledge their own emotions and experiences. This vulnerability allows a person to relate more deeply to others because they recognize that suffering, joy, love, and loss are universal human experiences. By embracing their own humanity, a good person becomes more attuned to the humanity of others. It is not about trying to fix someone's problems, but about offering comfort, understanding, and acceptance. There are many ways empathy manifests itself in daily life. It could be as simple as noticing when someone is upset and asking how they are doing, or offering assistance to someone in need without being asked. It could also involve standing up for someone who is being treated unfairly, or reaching out to a friend who is going through a difficult time. A good person does not turn a blind eye to the suffering of others. They choose to see it and to act in a way that alleviates some of that pain, whether through a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or just being there for someone in need. Empathy also plays a crucial role in conflict resolution. In times of disagreement or tension, a good person strives to understand the other person's point of view. Instead of reacting impulsively or defensively, they pause and reflect. They ask themselves why the other person may be feeling a certain way, what their fears or frustrations might be, and how they can approach the situation with sensitivity. This ability to see beyond one's own perspective and to consider the emotions of others is what often allows a person to find common ground and resolve conflicts in a constructive and compassionate manner. In the world today, where so much of our interactions are mediated through screens and digital platforms, the act of empathizing with others can sometimes feel distant or diluted. Yet, it is more important than ever to engage in real, human connections, to reach out and listen not just to the words that are spoken, but to the emotions that are being conveyed. A text message or social media post can never fully capture the depth of a person's feelings. It is only through face-to-face interaction, through looking into someone's eyes and hearing the inflections in their voice, that we can truly understand what they are experiencing. To be an empathetic person requires patience, emotional intelligence, and a willingness to be present with others. It is not always easy, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable, especially when we encounter emotions that challenge us or make us feel vulnerable. Yet, in these moments of discomfort, true growth occurs. By allowing ourselves to feel with others, we expand our own emotional capacity and enrich our relationships. Oh, wait. Through empathy, we not only help others feel seen and understood, but we also help ourselves become more compassionate, patient, and connected human beings. Ultimately, empathy is not just a quality that defines a good person. It is the foundation upon which all other good qualities are built. It is the key to understanding, connection, and compassion, and it is through empathy that we can bridge the divides that often separate us from one another. In a world that is increasingly fast-paced and disconnected, the ability to truly understand and care for others is perhaps the most important sign that we are indeed good people. Being a good person is often reflected in the ability to act with kindness, without any expectation of reward or recognition. The essence of true goodness lies in the willingness to extend help, show compassion, and offer support to others purely because it feels right, not because one anticipates anything in return. These acts of kindness, whether grand or small, are a testament to the sincerity of a person's character and their genuine desire to make the world a better place. At the heart of selfless kindness is the belief that helping others is not a transaction but a gift. A good person offers their time, energy, or resources without the thought of gaining something back. It may be as simple as holding the door open for someone or paying for a stranger's coffee in line. The beauty of these acts lies in their simplicity. They require no fanfare or applause. Their impact is felt deeply by the recipient. Often, where words can convey, in these moments the focus is on the other person, on their needs and their comfort, not on one's own desires or recognition. But kindness is not limited to actions that are immediately visible or tangible. Sometimes it is in the quiet moments of offering emotional support, being a sounding board for someone going through a tough time, or just lending an understanding ear. In these instances, the good person provides a sense of comfort and reassurance that the world is still a place of compassion, even when everything feels uncertain. Offering a kind word or taking the time to check in on someone can mean more than any material gift, as it shows a deep recognition of the other person's humanity and struggles. True kindness also involves a great deal of patience. Life is full of challenges, and people sometimes lash out or act in ways that reflect their own pain. A good person does not respond with anger or frustration, but meets these moments with understanding. They realize that kindness is not just for those who treat us well, but especially for those who may be going through their own hardships and acting from a place of suffering. By offering kindness in these situations, a person helps to break the cycle of negativity and offers a sense of hope and healing to those who need it most. One of the most powerful aspects of selfless kindness is that it is often contagious. When a good person acts kindly, it inspires others to do the same. This creates a ripple effect, where one small act of compassion can spread through a community, a workplace, or even an entire city. The impact of kindness, though sometimes invisible, is profound in its ability to influence and uplift. It reminds people that there is still good in the world, and it encourages others to step forward and contribute to the collective well-being. But what distinguishes selfless kindness from mere politeness or obligation is the genuine desire to help others without any personal benefit. A good person does not seek to be recognized for their kindness. They do not expect the world to return the favor, nor do they keep track of the good deeds they have done. Their kindness flows naturally from the understanding that, in helping others, they contribute to a greater sense of humanity. It is a quiet, powerful force that creates bonds between people and fosters a sense of community, trust, and mutual care. Moreover, kindness is not always easy. It requires emotional resilience, especially in a world that sometimes feels indifferent or even hostile. To be kind, particularly in challenging situations, requires one to set aside personal grievances and focus on the needs of others. It is not always reciprocated, and sometimes kindness is met with indifference or even rejection. No nisan, but a good person continues to act with kindness, not because it is easy, but because they understand that it is the right thing to do. They understand that acts of kindness, however small, are meaningful and make a difference, even if they cannot see it right away. In many ways, kindness is the glue that holds society together. In a world that often prioritizes individual gain and personal success, kindness serves as a reminder of the importance of the collective. It shifts the focus from what can I get to what can I give, and in doing so, it fosters a deeper connection between people. When kindness is freely given without strings attached, it breaks down barriers, heals wounds, and builds a sense of shared humanity. Through acts of selfless kindness, a good person not only brightens the lives of others, but also enriches their own life in ways they might not fully understand. There is a quiet fulfillment that comes from knowing that one has made the world a little bit better, a little bit kinder. This is the power of kindness. It may not always change the world overnight, but it gradually shifts the hearts of those who experience it, creating a world that is more compassionate, connected, and humane. Honesty and integrity form the cornerstone of being a good person, and they go hand in hand, creating a foundation of trust and reliability that others can depend on. A truly good person speaks the truth, even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient, because they understand the value of authenticity in all their relationships. Integrity, on the other hand, ensures that they act in ways that align with their values, maintaining consistency between what they say and what they do. This unwavering commitment to truth and moral principles shapes not only how they are perceived by others, but also how they perceive themselves. To be honest is to be transparent in one's actions and words. It means that a good person does not hide behind lies or half-truths. It can be easy to tell a lie in moments of fear or insecurity, when the truth might cause conflict or discomfort. But a person of integrity chooses to confront the truth even when the path is difficult. They know that the immediate discomfort caused by truth is far less damaging than the long-term consequences of deceit. For them, honesty is not a negotiable trait. It is a commitment to themselves and the people around them. An honest person will admit when they are wrong, take responsibility for their mistakes, and never try to cover up their shortcomings. There is strength in admitting vulnerability, and a person with integrity does not shy away from it. They recognize that their mistakes do not define them, but serve as opportunities for growth and improvement. This willingness to face one's errors with openness allows for self-reflection, which is crucial for personal development. It is a key trait that separates someone who merely claims to be good from someone who truly embodies goodness in their actions. But honesty does not mean being brutally blunt or unkind. A good person understands that truth should always be delivered with care and consideration for others' feelings. They know that words, though honest, can hurt if not spoken with sensitivity. So they approach honesty with empathy, balancing the need to be truthful with the understanding that the truth must be shared in a way that fosters healing rather than harm. They recognize that honesty isn't just about speaking facts, it's about communicating those facts in a manner that upholds respect for others. Integrity is the commitment to uphold one's principles, even when no one is watching. It is the quiet, consistent adherence to values that transcends external pressure or temptation. A person with integrity does what is right because they believe in it, not because they expect recognition or gain. Their word is their bond, and their actions are a reflection of their character. In a world where shortcuts and compromises are often seen as necessary to get ahead, a good person chooses to remain steadfast in their beliefs, knowing that staying true to their values is what ultimately defines them. Integrity requires a deep sense of responsibility and accountability. A good person with integrity does not blame others for their mistakes or misfortunes. They own up to their actions, regardless of how difficult that may be. They accept the consequences of their decisions without deflecting blame, because they understand that accountability is the path to growth, and this sense of personal responsibility extends to all areas of life, whether in relationships, work, or social interactions. A person of integrity consistently strives to do the right thing even when it's easier to follow the crowd or take the path of least resistance. Moreover, integrity is built on a foundation of trust. When a person is honest and maintains integrity in their dealings with others, they build trust, which is essential for meaningful relationships. Without trust, connections are fragile and superficial. But when people know they can rely on someone to be truthful and principled, they feel safe and valued. A good person does not betray that trust by engaging in dishonest behavior or unethical actions. Instead, they protect and nurture trust by being transparent, respectful, and consistent. There is also a quiet power in the integrity of a good person. It is not something that demands attention or praise, but it earns the respect and admiration of those around them. People are drawn to individuals who live with integrity because they know they can trust them. They know that these individuals will always act in alignment with their values, no matter the situation. Integrity becomes a guiding light in a world that can often feel murky or uncertain. It provides clarity in decision-making, helping individuals navigate difficult situations with a sense of moral certainty. Ultimately, the combination of honesty and integrity creates a strong foundation for any good person. It shapes their actions, their relationships, and their reputation in ways that resonate far beyond their immediate surroundings. When a person lives with honesty and integrity, they become a beacon of trustworthiness in a world that often lacks it. And in doing so, they not only demonstrate their goodness to others, but also cultivate a deeper sense of self-respect and authenticity within themselves. Respect for others is a fundamental quality that distinguishes a good person from those who may be indifferent or dismissive. It is rooted in the belief that every individual, regardless of their background, beliefs, or circumstances, deserves to be treated with dignity and consideration. A person who respects others does not see them as mere instruments for personal gain or as obstacles to be overcome, but rather as individuals with unique experiences, perspectives, and emotions. This respect is expressed in the way they engage with others, the way they listen, and the way they respond to differing viewpoints. To respect others is to honor their autonomy and individuality. A good person understands that everyone has their own story, shaped by a variety of factors: family, culture, experiences, and personal beliefs. Instead of judging others based on preconceived notions or biases, they take the time to listen and understand the unique circumstances that have led someone to think or act in a particular way. They recognize that their own experiences do not define the experiences of others, and they do not impose their own views on those around them. By giving others the space to be themselves, a person who respects others fosters an environment of acceptance and inclusivity. In practice, respect is shown through the way a person communicates. A good person does not belittle or demean others, even when they disagree. They approach conversations with an open mind, willing to listen and engage in dialogue, without resorting to insults or dismissiveness. This is particularly important in times of conflict, when emotions are running high and opinions may differ. Rather than escalating a disagreement or becoming defensive, a person of respect remains calm, listens attentively, and seeks to understand the underlying reasons behind the other person's stance. They approach differences as opportunities for growth, not as battles to be won. By doing so, they create a space where open, honest, and respectful communication can flourish. Respect also extends to how a person values the time and energy of others. A good person recognizes that everyone has their own priorities and responsibilities, and they do not take others' time for granted. They are punctual, considerate, and mindful of the commitments of those around them. They understand that everyone is busy, and they strive to be efficient and respectful in their interaction. Whether it's responding to a message in a timely manner, keeping appointments, or acknowledging the effort that others put into their work, respect is shown through actions that acknowledge the value of others' time and contributions. Moreover, respect for others is expressed in the way a good person treats those who may be perceived as less powerful or influential. It is easy to show respect to those who are in positions of authority, but true respect is demonstrated when interacting with those who may have little to offer in terms of status or influence. A good person recognizes that everyone, regardless of their position in society, deserves to be treated with kindness and dignity, whether it's a janitor, a waiter, or a fellow colleague. They treat everyone with the same level of respect and care. They understand that power dynamics should not define the quality of one's interactions, and that respect is a universal right, not a privilege reserved for a select few. Respect also involves recognizing the rights and needs of others. A good person is sensitive to the boundaries and preferences of those around them, and they make a conscious effort not to overstep these boundaries. They understand that everyone has their own comfort levels, and they respect those limits without judgment. Whether it's in personal relationships or professional settings, they are careful not to impose their own needs or desires on others, but instead, they seek to create mutually beneficial interactions where everyone feels heard and valued. One of the most profound aspects of respect is its ability to foster trust and understanding in relationships. When a person feels respected, they are more likely to reciprocate that respect and open themselves up to deeper connection and collaboration. A good person builds a network of trust, where mutual respect is the foundation of every interaction. This trust allows people to work together more effectively, to share ideas without fear of ridicule, and to support one another in times of need. In a world where division and misunderstandings can easily arise, respect serves as the bridge that connects individuals, communities, and cultures. Respect for others is also shown through the way a person values diversity. A good person appreciates that differences in race, culture, religion, gender, and beliefs enrich the human experience. They do not seek to homogenize or conform others to their own perspective, but celebrate the uniqueness of each individual. They understand that diversity is not something to be feared or resisted, but rather something to be embraced and respected. In doing so, they create a more inclusive and harmonious environment where everyone feels accepted and valued for who they are. Respect is not just a superficial or transactional quality, it is a deep, ingrained belief in the inherent worth of every individual. A good person recognizes that respect is not earned through external achievements or status, but is due to every person by virtue of their humanity. By treating others with respect, they contribute to a culture of empathy, cooperation, and shared understanding, where all individuals are empowered to thrive. This respect, though often unspoken, is one of the most powerful forces for positive change in the world, shaping the way people interact with one another and creating a more compassionate and connected society. Accountability and self-awareness are critical traits that define a truly good person. To be accountable is to accept responsibility for one's actions, decisions, and behavior, regardless of the outcome. It means not shifting blame onto others or making excuses, but standing firm in the knowledge that every choice we make carries consequences. Self-awareness, on the other hand, is the ability to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and emotions, to understand our motivations, and to recognize how they impact others. Together, accountability and self-awareness provide a foundation for personal growth and integrity, ensuring that a person is not only responsible for their behavior, but also continuously striving to improve themselves. A person who is accountable does not hide from their mistakes. Instead, they confront them head-on, acknowledging where they went wrong and learning from the experience. This willingness to admit when they are wrong is not a sign of weakness, but of strength and maturity. It demonstrates a profound understanding that no one is perfect and that growth comes from facing one's faults and rather than deflecting responsibility or making excuses, they take ownership of their actions, regardless of the challenges or difficulties involved. This accountability creates a sense of trust with others, as people can rely on someone who is honest and transparent, knowing that they will not try to cover up their mistakes or avoid the consequences of their actions. Moreover, accountability is not limited to personal mistakes. It extends to how a person handles their commitments and obligations. A good person follows through on their promises, whether big or small, because they understand that their word is their bond. They are reliable and dependable, showing respect for others by honoring their commitments. If unforeseen circumstances arise that make it impossible to keep a promise, they communicate honestly and promptly, offering alternatives or solutions, rather than leaving others in the dark. This sense of accountability fosters deeper connections and ensures that relationships, both personal and professional, are built on a foundation of trust and reliability. Self-awareness plays an equally important role in being a good person. It is the ability to recognize and understand one's own emotions, behaviors, and thought patterns. A self-aware person is constantly reflecting on how their actions align with their values, how their behavior impacts others, and whether they are living in a way that is true to themselves. This self-reflection allows them to identify areas of growth and make adjustments when necessary, fostering continuous personal development. A good person is not stagnant. They are always striving to better themselves, to learn from their experiences, and to evolve as an individual. Self-awareness also involves being mindful of one's emotions and reactions. A good person does not allow anger, frustration, or other strong emotions to dictate their behavior. Instead, they take the time to process their feelings and understand why they feel a certain way. By doing so, they can approach situations with a clear mind and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively or out of emotion. This emotional intelligence enables a good person to handle conflict with grace and to communicate effectively, even in challenging or tense situations. It also allows them to empathize with others, as they are in tune with their own feelings and can better understand the emotions of those around them. Being self-aware also means being honest with oneself. It is easy to fall into the trap of self-deception, of making excuses for our behavior or denying our flaws. But a truly good person does not hide from their own imperfections. They acknowledge their weaknesses, their biases, and their limitations, and they use this awareness to make positive changes in their lives. This humility, this ability to look inward and see oneself clearly, is essential for growth. Without it, we can become stagnant or even defensive, unwilling to admit where we need to improve. Self-awareness allows a person to take responsibility, not just for their actions, but for their internal world, their thoughts, and their emotional responses. An accountable person also understands the importance of learning from feedback. They do not shy away from criticism or constructive advice, but embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Instead of becoming defensive or closed off when others point out areas for improvement, they listen with an open mind, seeking to understand the perspective of others. They recognize that feedback is a gift, a chance to see themselves from a different point of view, and they use it to better themselves in their relationships. This openness to growth and change is a vital aspect of both accountability and self-awareness. The combination of accountability and self-awareness strengthens a person's relationships with others. When a person is accountable for their actions and aware of how they impact those around them, they can build stronger, more authentic connections. They are able to communicate more effectively, show empathy, and be more considerate of others' feelings. They also take responsibility for their part in any conflict or misunderstanding, working to resolve issues in a healthy and constructive way. This sense of accountability and awareness fosters trust and respect, creating a supportive environment where people can be their true selves. Accountability and self-awareness are not just about making better decisions or being more reliable. They are about becoming a more authentic and compassionate person. They are about understanding who we are, what we value, and how we can contribute positively to the world around us. A good person is someone who continuously strives to improve, who takes responsibility for their actions, and who remains mindful of their impact on others. These qualities, though sometimes challenging to cultivate, are the foundation of personal growth and moral integrity. Empathy and compassion are two qualities that lie at the very heart of being a good person. To truly understand and connect with others, it is essential to be able to put oneself in their shoes, to feel what they're feeling, and to offer support in a way that shows genuine concern for their well-being. Empathy is the ability to deeply comprehend the emotions and experiences of others, while compassion is the active desire to alleviate their suffering. Devat. These two qualities work together to foster meaningful relationships and create a sense of shared humanity, allowing us to build bridges with people from all walks of life. Empathy begins with listening, not just hearing words, but truly understanding the underlying emotions and needs behind them. A good person listens attentively without rushing to offer advice or judgment. They focus on the other person, making them feel heard and understood. This deep, non-judgmental listening allows the speaker to feel validated, which in turn fosters a sense of trust. And the person who listens with empathy does not simply wait for their turn to speak, but actively engages in the conversation, reflecting back the emotions and thoughts that the other person has shared. In this way, empathy helps to create an environment where open and honest communication can thrive. But empathy goes beyond listening. It involves truly feeling for the other person. It is the ability to sense their pain, joy, frustration, or hope, and to experience a moment of shared emotion. This emotional connection allows a good person to respond in ways that are sensitive to the other's needs. When someone is grieving, for example, an empathetic person does not try to minimize their feelings or offer cliches. Instead, they sit with the person in their sorrow, offering a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on, or simply their presence. They understand that sometimes words are not necessary. What matters is that the person in pain knows they are not alone. Compassion, while related to empathy, goes a step further. Compassion is the desire to take action in response to the suffering of others. It is not enough to simply understand someone's pain. A good person with compassion is moved to help in whatever way they can, whether it is offering emotional support, providing resources, or standing up for those who cannot defend themselves. Compassion compels the individual to take concrete steps to alleviate suffering. Compassion is not limited to those who are close to us or those who are easy to help. A truly compassionate person extends this concern to all, even to strangers or those with whom they may not have a personal connection. It is a recognition that suffering is a universal experience, and it transcends boundaries of nationality, race, or social status. One of the most powerful aspects of empathy and compassion is their ability to break down barriers between people. In a world that often feels divided by differences in culture, opinion, or circumstance, empathy and compassion serve as a reminder of our shared humanity. When we can empathize with the pain of another, regardless of their background, we begin to see them not as an outsider, but as a fellow human being. This understanding fosters a deeper sense of connection, as it allows us to bridge divides and create relationships based on common ground. Compassion, in turn, strengthens this connection, as it motivates us to act in ways that show we genuinely care about the welfare of others. Empathy and compassion also play a crucial role in conflict resolution. In times of disagreement or tension, these qualities enable individuals to step back from their own perspectives and understand the other side. When both parties are empathetic, they can begin to see the situation from each other's point of view, which paves the way for compromise and mutual understanding. Compassion helps to keep the conversation focused on finding a solution that benefits everyone rather than allowing emotions or egos to take center stage. A person who practices empathy and compassion in conflict is more likely to diffuse tension and help bring about a peaceful resolution, as their primary concern is the well-being of all involved. Moreover, empathy and compassion are not just for moments of crisis, they are qualities that a good person brings into everyday life. They show up in the small interactions we have with others, whether it's a smile, a kind word, or an act of service. A compassionate person takes time to notice the needs of others, even when those needs are not explicitly stated. It might mean offering to help a neighbor with groceries, checking in on a colleague who seems overwhelmed, or simply offering a genuine compliment to someone who may be feeling down. These small acts of empathy and compassion can have a profound impact, brightening someone's day and reminding them that they matter. In addition to the positive impact they have on others, empathy and compassion also contribute to the well-being of the person who practices them. Studies have shown that helping others can lead to increased happiness, a sense of fulfillment, and even better physical health. When we connect with others on an emotional level, we create a sense of purpose and belonging that enriches our own lives. Furthermore, by practicing empathy and compassion, we develop a deeper understanding of our own emotions and needs. We learn to recognize our own vulnerabilities and develop the emotional intelligence to handle difficult situations with grace. Being empathetic and compassionate does not mean that a person should always put the needs of others ahead of their own or sacrifice their well-being. True empathy and compassion involve striking a balance between caring for others and caring for oneself. A good person understands that self-care is necessary in order to be able to offer help to others. By taking care of their own emotional and physical health, they are better equipped to support others in times of need. Ultimately, empathy and compassion are powerful forces for good in the world. They enable individuals to build meaningful connections, resolve conflicts, and contribute positively to the lives of others. A good person practices empathy and compassion not out of obligation, but because they genuinely believe in the value of human connection and the importance of making the world a better place, one kind act at a time. Through these qualities, they inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond their immediate circles. Humility is a trait that often goes unnoticed, yet it is essential in distinguishing a good person from others. It involves having a modest view of one's own importance, acknowledging that no one is above another, and accepting that we are all constantly learning and growing. Humility is the ability to recognize one's strengths and accomplishments without allowing them to inflate the ego. It is also the capacity to embrace one's limitations and shortcomings without shame, but with the understanding that there is always room for improvement. A humble person does not seek to dominate or overshadow others. Instead, they lift those around them up and give credit where it is due. A humble person understands that their achievements are often the result of collaboration, timing, and circumstances beyond their control. They recognize that success is not solely attributed to their own efforts, but is also a reflection of the support, opportunities, and experiences they have received from others. This understanding prevents them from becoming arrogant or boastful. Instead, they show gratitude and appreciation for the people who have helped them along the way. Want a cup? Item on Ellie. I hope they've ever seen you again. They are quick to acknowledge the contributions of others, recognizing that everyone plays a part in their success. Humility also manifests in how a person interacts with others. A humble individual does not seek attention or praise, but quietly works behind the scenes to make a difference. They do not feel the need to constantly assert themselves or prove their worth. Instead, they allow their actions and character to speak for themselves. They do not compete for recognition, but focus on doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. This humility creates a sense of warmth and authenticity that attracts others, as people naturally gravitate toward those who do not seek to dominate or control the conversation. One of the most important aspects of humility is the ability to listen and learn. A humble person does not assume that they know everything or that their way is the only correct way. They approach life with an open mind and a willingness to absorb new information. They are not afraid to admit when they don't know something, and they actively seek opportunities to grow and expand their knowledge. Humility allows them to be receptive to feedback, criticism, and new perspectives. They understand that learning is a lifelong process, and they are open to changing their views or approaches based on new insights. A humble person also recognizes the value of others, regardless of their status, background, or position in life. They do not look down on people who may not have the same privileges or opportunities. Instead, they treat everyone with kindness, respect, and empathy. They understand that every person has inherent worth and that their value is not defined by their material success or social standing. Humility allows them to see beyond the surface and connect with people on a deeper level, recognizing the humanity in each individual. Moreover, humility involves the ability to accept constructive criticism without defensiveness. A humble person sees criticism as a tool for growth rather than a personal attack. When someone offers feedback, they listen attentively, absorb the information, and use it to improve themselves. This willingness to be vulnerable and accept criticism is a sign of maturity and emotional intelligence. It shows that the individual values self-improvement more than protecting their ego. Humility also leads to a deep sense of self-awareness. A humble person is in tune with their own strengths and weaknesses, and does not shy away from acknowledging areas where they may fall short. They are not afraid to seek help or ask for guidance when needed, as they understand that no one can succeed alone. This self-awareness allows them to be authentic and true to themselves, as they do not feel the need to put on a facade or pretend to be something they are not. Their sense of security comes from within, not from external validation. A humble person does not seek to control others or impose their will on them. Instead, they approach life with a spirit of collaboration and cooperation. They understand that everyone has unique strengths and talents, and they value the input of others. They are willing to listen to different perspectives and find common ground, working together with others to achieve shared goals. This collaborative spirit fosters a sense of unity and mutual respect, as people feel valued and heard in the presence of a humble leader or friend. Additionally, humility enables a person to remain grounded during times of success or recognition. While many may become intoxicated by accolades or praise, a humble person stays true to their values and remains focused on the bigger picture. They do not let fame, wealth, or status define them. Instead, they recognize that these external achievements are fleeting and do not hold intrinsic value. What matters most to a humble person is their integrity, their relationships with others, and their ability to make a positive impact in the world. They are content with quietly contributing to the well-being of others without the need for personal recognition or reward. In relationships, humility plays a crucial role in fostering harmony and understanding. A humble person does not seek to dominate or control their interactions. Instead, they approach others with a sense of equality, valuing their thoughts, feelings, and perspectives. They are willing to admit when they are wrong, apologize when necessary, and make amends when they have hurt someone. Humility allows them to see the value in others' opinions and to create an environment of mutual respect and understanding. Finally, humility is the antidote to pride, which can create division, conflict, and distance between people. A proud person often places themselves above others, seeking admiration and recognition, while a humble person seeks to lift others up and create an environment of collaboration and kindness. By practicing humility, we can cultivate deeper, more meaningful connections with others, while also staying grounded in our own sense of purpose and values. A humble person does not seek to be the center of attention, but instead they quietly and consistently contribute to the well-being of others. They lead by example, showing that true greatness lies not in outward achievements or recognition, but in the ability to remain humble and serve others with sincerity and compassion. Humility is not about diminishing oneself, but about recognizing that we are all part of something larger than ourselves, and that true fulfillment comes from helping others and contributing to the greater good. In conclusion, being a good person is not defined by grand gestures or outward achievements, but by the values we embody and the way we treat others. Integrity, accountability, self-awareness, empathy, compassion, and humility all play vital roles in shaping our character and guiding us in our interactions with the world. These qualities are not innate, They are cultivated over time through conscious effort, reflection, and a genuine desire to make a positive impact. A good person is someone who remains true to their principles, owns their mistakes, listens with empathy, and extends compassion to those in need. They are humble in their accomplishments and recognize the value of every individual they encounter. While the road to becoming a better person may be challenging, it is ultimately a journey worth taking, for it leads to personal fulfillment and meaningful relationships. In a world that often values success and recognition above all else, a good person stands as a reminder that the true measure of our worth lies not in what we achieve, but in how we treat others and the integrity with which we live our lives. Through these qualities, we create a ripple effect of goodness that extends far beyond ourselves.